Hi guys, welcome back to my kitchen, and today I'm cooking another meal from my book, Delicious Gluten Free Meals. And this time we're turning to the batch cooking chapter because I am making the one and the only, my ultimate mac and cheese. I mean, get a load of that. It's cheesy, it's gooey, it's amazing, and it's a great one for batch cooking. This recipe is on page 96 of Delicious Gluten Free Meals, so let's get cooking and I'll show you how to make it. Making this recipe is so quick, and it's actually really easy to make the sauce while the pasta cooks. So I've got a pan of salted water which I've just got on the boil now, and I'm going to pour in my macaroni, and then while that's cooking I can get on with making the sauce. Okay, don't throw that much everywhere. With gluten-free pasta you need to make sure your water is boiling before you put the pasta in. Give it a stir and then get it back up to the boil as quickly as possible. And I'm going to leave that to boil while I start the sauce. So the first thing I'm going to do for my sauce is I'm going to add in my butter to my pan. And then I'm going to add some chopped garlic. Now you can chop your own garlic. I'm just being very lazy and using the very lazy garlic because that's all I actually had. And we're going to cook off the garlic for a couple of minutes in that butter before we start turning it into a white sauce. Starting to smell lovely and garlicky now. I like to give my pasta a little stir every now and then just to make sure it doesn't stick. So once that's had a couple of minutes, I'm going to add in my gluten-free flour. I'm just using a plain gluten-free flour, and this is going to thicken the sauce up nicely. We just need to make sure it's cooked through, so we want to give it about a minute on this heat just to really cook the flour. And you're going to see that it turns into a thick paste. That's absolutely fine, that's what we want. Keep that moving. At this point you're pretty bound to the stove and you need to keep making sure that you're stirring this. Don't go off and leave it because that's where a white sauce goes wrong. And once that's cooked through, we're going to start adding the milk. Now to make sure that our sauce is lump free, we're going to add the milk gradually. So this base recipe minus the garlic is also in my book. In the basics chapter is my white sauce, but obviously we're turning it into mac and cheese. So if you want to make a white sauce, this is also how that process goes. So I'm just adding a bit of milk at a time. And what you'll probably find is that it will get thicker before it gets thinner, which may seem backwards, but go with the process. If you keep adding loads of milk in one go, it's just going to end up being really lumpy. So you can see how it's kind of formed into this almost like a dough now. So once you've added the milk, just keep going with the whisking until it turns into a paste each time. So it will keep thickening, but eventually as we add more of the milk in, it will start to form a sauce. And a bit more. So you can see now it's starting to form a bit more of a sauce. We're getting there. I'm going to add all the rest of the milk in now. So I'm turning this heat right down to give me a minute's grace to strain the pasta, which is now ready. It's hot. So I'm just going to strain the macaroni off, and then this is very steamy, but I'm going to pop it back in the pan, and I'm just going to put a knob of butter in with this. And I'm going to stir that through because I don't want my macaroni to start sticking. There you go, a gentle stir of butter, and that should stop that sticking while I just quickly finish off my sauce. So by now my sauce is lovely and thick. It's heated through and it's lovely and smooth. So now it's time to add the best bit, which is, of course, the cheese. Now I use a number of different cheeses. The first one is mature cheddar. The more mature the cheddar, the stronger the cheesy taste, and I like a really cheesy mac and cheese. And then because I want this to be nice and stringy, I've also got some grated mozzarella. And my secret to getting the best coloured mac and cheese, burger cheese slices. Trust me on this, it might seem a little bit weird, but they really do make this mac and cheese. So I've switched over to a wooden spoon just to make it a bit easier, and I'm just simply going to stir this through until all the cheese is melted. I've still got it on a very low heat, but I don't want it to be boiling or bubbling, so I may even turn that off in a minute. I mean, you can already see where the mozzarella is starting to work its magic. So the cheese sauce is almost there. You can see the lovely colour rippling through. and the stretch from the mozzarella. I'm going to keep doing this until it's completely melted through, and then I'm going to show you how to construct this to bake it in the oven into something incredible. So I've got my macaroni here, and because I put the butter on it, you can see it's not all stuck together. And here is my finished cheese sauce. Now all I'm going to do is pour this into there. I like to scrape out every last bit. Now this is where it really helps to have a big enough pan, which I really don't. But we're just gonna turn this together. Now we don't want to stir it too vigorously because gluten-free pasta can be prone to breaking up a bit, and it's still gonna go in the oven for a little while. I'm just gonna gently stir that lovely cheesy gooey sauce through the macaroni. Now, if you just want a gluten-free mac and cheese, it's ready in less than 15 minutes, you can just tuck in like that. But if you want the ultimate mac and cheese, you're gonna need some gluten-free breadcrumbs, which I literally just whizzed up some leftover gluten-free bread in the food processor, and some extra cheese, and we're gonna portion this up and bake it. Now, I've made enough for 4 portions, but there is only 2 of us, so I'm gonna do 1 portion for now, and then I'm gonna do 1 for the freezer. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna portion it into a foil tray, and then I'm going to sprinkle the breadcrumbs and the cheese on top, but I'm not going to bake it yet, because then I can simply freeze it like that, and I can bake it from frozen, and it will get that lovely cheesy crumb on top, and it will be just like a ready meal, but without the hassle of having to go out and buy one that's gluten-free and probably tastes rubbish. And if you like, you can also save the sauce on its own, so you can cook a big batch of the sauce, and then you can freeze portions of that, which you can simply microwave and add to freshly cooked gluten-free pasta. It's such an easy recipe. There's so many different things you can do with it, and that's why I love it. So now I'm going to try and portion this up. Now the thing I love about mac and cheese is it makes just as good a main course as it does a side dish. So if you're doing like a big feast, you can make a portion of this up and serve it with chicken or burgers. Honestly, it is such a versatile dish. And then now I've got my portion, I'm going to cover that with a sprinkle of gluten-free breadcrumbs. Now you can toast these first if you want to, but I haven't. And I'll do the same with my freezer portion as well. And then a sprinkling of extra cheese. I'm using cheddar. And it will get this lovely, crispy, crunchy, cheesy top, which is just the ultimate mac and cheese. So I'm gonna let this one for the freezer cool completely before I freeze it. And this one is going in the oven so I can show you what it looks like with its lovely crunchy top. Oh, it is sizzling and it smells so good. Here it is, my gluten-free ultimate mac and cheese. I mean, just look at it. I'm gonna have to show you how delicious it looks inside. Oh, look at that. Oh. You've got the gooey, delicious cheese sauce, you've got the crunchy breadcrumb cheese topping. I mean, what could be more dreamy than that? If you like the look of this and you want to give it a try, and I've made you realise how easy this is to do, you can find my ultimate mac and cheese on page 96 of my book, Delicious Gluten Free Meals. I will pop the links down below. And if you've already got a copy, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a review. They mean a lot to a first-time author like me, and they really help support the book. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe tutorial. If you like it, please hit like, comment below if you're going to give this a try, and subscribe to my channel for more recipe videos, and I'll see you again soon. Bye! Oh my gosh, look at it. I'm gonna go eat this now.